BBC News with Sue Montgomery. Countries from the West African regional body ECOWAS say they have now agreed on a plan for possible military intervention in Niger if the military men who seized power there do not restore the country's president. The organisation had earlier set a deadline of Sunday to reinstate Mohamed Bazoum. Nigeria's Chief of Defence Staff, Christopher Musa, urged ECOWAS members to find a solution.
We must ensure that decisions taken here today are not mere rhetorics, but are transformed into tangible actions on the ground. To this end, I call upon each member state to take ownership of the agreed-upon measures and work diligently to implement them towards finding solutions to the situation in the Republic of Niger.
ECOWAS is also attempting to mediate. A delegation visited Niger on Thursday, but failed to meet the coup leader or the deposed president. The paramilitary force at war with the Sudanese army says it's taken control of central Darfur state. The region has seen some of the worst fighting outside the capital Khartoum since the war began in mid-April. Will Ross reports.
The Rapid Support Forces are steadily capturing more and more areas of Darfur in western Sudan. We can't independently confirm the RSF claim that it's now in control of the whole of central Darfur, but what is clear is that this paramilitary force and allied Arab militias are committing widespread atrocities against civilians, including killings, looting and sexual violence. Towns and villages have been burnt to the ground. Human Rights Watch wants the United States, which currently holds the presidency of the UN Security Council, to do more to protect civilians and punish the perpetrators. It wants targeted sanctions against those responsible for the ongoing abuses.
A wildfire caused by high temperatures has set off explosions outside Tehran's notorious Evin prison. Iranian state media say the blaze detonated landmines in a security zone around the jail before it was brought under control. Russia's jailed opposition leader Alexei Navalny has urged people to keep resisting the Kremlin after being handed another long prison sentence. He said Russians were being forced to surrender without a fight to those he described as traitors, thieves and scoundrels who'd seized power. From Moscow, Steve Rosenberg.
Alexei Navalny was tried in the high-security prison in which he's currently incarcerated. The Kremlin's most vocal critic and Russia's most famous prisoner was pronounced guilty yet again, this time on extremism charges. His punishment, a new 19-year prison sentence, to be served in a so-called special regime colony where conditions are even more restrictive. There was international condemnation. The US State Department called the verdict an unjust conclusion to an unjust trial.
BBC News. Russian media reports say there's been a Ukrainian drone attack on a ship sailing between mainland Russia and occupied Crimea. The TASS news agency says rescuers are on their way to the tanker in the Kerch Strait. 2 tugboats are said to be preparing to tow the vessel. A US State Department official has said Washington is discussing what support it would be prepared to offer a Kenya-led multinational force to help fight armed gangs in Haiti. Kenya announced last week it was willing to head such a multinational force and committed 1,000 police officers. Haiti faces a crime wave. Australia says it will drop a case against China at the World Trade Organization after Beijing lifted hefty tariffs on Australian barley. Trade relations have been suffering since 2020, when Australia called for an inquiry into the origins of COVID-19, triggering tariff reprisals. The Russian soprano Anna Netrebko is suing the Metropolitan Opera and its manager for hundreds of thousands of dollars in damages after the New York-based company dropped her following Russia's invasion of Ukraine. The Met says the lawsuit has no merit. Here's Kat Wiener.
Anna Netrebko had been singing with the Met for 20 years when Russian troops invaded Ukraine in February 2022. Under pressure from the opera company's manager, the star, who'd previously made pro-Kremlin comments, did condemn the invasion. However, she stopped short of denouncing President Putin and was forced to withdraw from dozens of scheduled appearances. Ms. Netrebko is now demanding $360,000 in lost fees and for what she calls severe mental anguish. The star has continued to perform outside the United States.